We often know how a story begins, and along the line we forget it. So today I'd like to begin from the beginning. This happy photograph was actually taken on 14th May 1999. That is the day when I won the English Speaking Union's International Public Speaking Championship. This was taken in London. I'm wearing a royal blue velvet shalwar kameez that my mom specially made for the day. And I'm smiling, silly me, 15-year-old, smiling ear to ear in spite of my braces that used to make me very, very conscious. It is the day when I became the first and the only Pakistani to have won this competition amongst 48 participants from 26 different countries. And the same year, in December, I was invited to the Buckingham Palace to receive my winner's certificate by His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. Not a lot of people get to remember, but I can remember it vividly, that this is the day and this is the achievement that transformed my life. It transformed my life because for the first time, I got to feel my purpose, my power, my voice, the impact I can have in moving minds and in connecting hearts. And then there was no looking back, because this opportunity opened a number of new gates for me, new opportunities for me. And more importantly, it gave me wings. But that's only half of the story. The other half is where I'd like to take you. I had my own unique set of challenges. I am the eldest sister. I have two other sisters, so it's an all-girls household, an upper middle class family. And for my parents, their biggest life investment is not land, gold, or saving bonds, but quality education for the three of us. Therefore, I'm lucky that my family believed more in me than the societal stereotypes and the fears that the people put in us, but that came with the heavy responsibility of always being vigilant. I needed to look out for myself. And as I made that transition from my student life to my professional life, the stakes got higher, the barriers got tougher, and of course, the judgment became harsher. When I look back, I sometimes wonder what life had become. You know, the life that I knew then, and I still do, is riddled with mind games, with office politics, with nepotism and heartbreaks. I learned the hard way that some doors are going to close, but through persistence and hard work, many more will open. Life has continued to bless me. I have had fame, abundance, growth come my way, alhamdulillah. And today you know me as a well-known broadcast journalist, as a successful professional, as somebody who you deem worthy enough to invite to TEDxIslamabad so I can speak to you. But let me divorce myself from this shiny success. You know, this is my story. Extremely proud of it. I would never do anything another way, the way I have done it. But more importantly, when I look around, I see that success stories are doing something detrimental. Success stories are supposed to inspire you, ignite in you this go-getter attitude, where you want to just break the barriers, live your dreams, and be the person, the shiny person that you want that you've seen your role model to become. But in that quest, in that mission, we sometimes gloss over the struggles and the pains. We don't tell you about them. And to the point that we sometimes glorify them to be superhuman. None of us are superhumans. We've all had our struggles. But what is this culture? The culture that we are breeding in Pakistan is all about irresponsible glorification of imbalanced work lives. You are asked to become risk averse. There's personality worship. You are told over and over again about personal choices being the most glorious of sacrifices, and you can't really match up. This is a culture where, unfortunately, personal happiness has come last now. Passion has taken a backseat to duty, and duty is leaving no room for mistake. In fact, mistakes and failure become lifelong shame. So what does that do for young people? I feel that you're pushed into this really unfair delusional race to success, ill-equipping you to actually harness risks. You're unable to actually face fear and failure. So in my talk today, dear friends, I'd like to focus exactly on that. The new tomorrow that you and I both have to face after a setback. What happens and taste failure? Do you give up? How do you pick yourself up again? How do you pick up the broken pieces of your shattered self, glue them together, and become functional? How do you go back to being your inspired self when you're lost in this maze of self-doubt, pain, and loneliness? Well, that's the topic, that's the subject, but I feel that at the heart of all these questions are two fundamental elements: the elements of success and happiness. And dare I say that as a society, we have actually misunderstood the relationship between the two. We believe, and we are actually propagated to believe, that success is going to make you happiness. Success creates happiness. That is flawed, my friends. Happiness, on the other hand, does have a chance in creating success. I'll give you an example. Winning a championship, backing a big project, being famous, or buying a new car. None of this can make me happy. But yes, if I'm relaxed, if I'm joyful, if I'm pleasant, if I really enjoy what I do, I have a better chance of winning all these things, of achieving them and actually enjoying them. So somewhere along the line, society came up with this really faulty equation that wealth, fame, and success equals to happiness. That's not true. What it in turn does is it creates a lot of pressure on you. It creates the pressure to seek acceptance, to seek security, and to gain control. Another question comes to mind. When you're pressured like that, as normal human beings, you're more prone to falter. When you're pressurized, and we see examples of that every day, pilots crash, divers drown, leaders take detrimental decisions such as going to war, all of this, and then we turn around and we say, oh, you know what, they panicked, they choked. One of the key questions that comes to mind is, what about the way they failed? Does that not say something about us? Is all failure alike, or the way we fail actually tells us something about who we are and how we think? Ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about failure, it is easy to club it and say, that's it. But more importantly, I would like to take you to one of my most favorite sayings about success. This is by Winston Churchill, somebody I think wonderful orator, and he says, success is stumbling from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. How do you do that? The mystery question is that. I think even before we get to how we do it, let's stick to one part and perhaps agree on it. The agreement I seek is that when we talk about failure, we have misunderstood it. We see it to be the opposite of success. Failure, in fact, is part of the journey. You fail when you are trying to avoid failure. So therefore, it's really important to come up with a strategy where you're able to actually bounce back. And I, in my life, have been helped by three ways of doing that. And I'd like to share them with you. The three reminders must try and bring your mind to. I think the hardest thing is picking yourself up, but these reminders can really help. The first one, if you live for people's acceptance, you are going to die of their rejection. The first question to ask yourselves when you fail or when you think you are a failure is, what did I exactly fail at? Is it even my own dream? Or is it a borrowed belief system that I have acquired and I'm trying to live up to it? Because you're most likely to fail and hurt yourself when you're trying to please people, when you're trying to cut yourself up to try and fit their definition of success. Are you slogging away in a corporate prison, not getting your promotion, not getting the right opportunity, when in your heart of hearts, you have a wonderful idea, and in your free time, your mind wanders to that, and you wish that you could put it in action? Are you trying to be rich enough, thin enough, fair enough, gharelu enough, or whatever enough it may be, because people tell you that's how you're going to be accepted. That's what's going to make you more worthy. The big question, my friends, is to know the difference. That's not failure. That is self-sabotage, because you're trying to please people, and that's an uphill task you're bound to fail at. The second reminder, we're more frightened than we are hurt. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Please remember this. You know, perception is everything. Perspective is everything. When you look around and you're feeling down in the dumps and you're like, okay, I feel like a failure. I feel stressed. I feel frustrated. I feel trapped. Please remember that what you have recognized is that this is a habit of emotion. It's just like working out. What you get used to, what you tolerate, you get more of it, and you will become used to it. Words, my friends, are very, very powerful. They're magically powerful. They can make you love or hate, laugh or cry, fight or run away. So you can either be stressed or you be strong. You can either be frustrated or you be passionate. It's like working out, going to the gym. It's like a muscle. So practice it, harness it as much as you can. The third reminder, it's not failure, but the low aim that is the crime. It's a very important reminder. When you look around and if you look at what exactly have you failed, you need to understand how personal it is to you. Is it something that you set out to do for yourself? Because if you're only focused on your personal gain, you're more likely to have bad days. You're more likely to look back and say, oh, that didn't work out. I didn't win that contract. But when you're trying to serve something much larger than yourself, when you attach yourself to that divine force, when you're trying to serve your community, when you're trying to serve humanity, when you're trying to make a dent in the market or in the universe at large, that's when you've tapped into this infinite resource of zeal, of insight, of inspiration. And even if you fail at that, with a aim that high, with an attempt that glorious, even failing is amazing. So I want you to remember these 3 points which have helped me, and I feel that it's an ongoing journey. Sometimes people turn around and ask me, Sidra, do you not have a bad day? Do you not have a frustrated day where you just want to quit it all? Of course I do. But that used to be my address. That's where I've moved, and I urge you all to move as well. Be a go-getter and not be the person who gets bogged down by failure. In the end, I want you to take a look at this magnificent picture. It's that of a solar eclipse, and this was taken on the 21st of August, 2017. Big event, people started to talk about it, and it got me thinking. It got me thinking that every failure, every heartbreak, every setback is actually like a solar eclipse. Imagine this. In the sky of our being, the sun represents our passions, our dreams, our true desires. And suddenly, it's dark. It all goes away, but you remember that glimpse, that light, which basically illuminates all these wonderful things to your imagination, and you want to go for it. The intensity of your desire is also exactly like the sun. It can burn you, it can blind you, it can give you that unquenchable thirst, and it can also build you to a point where you start seeing mirages, just like a madman. But more importantly, do you know that the word eclipse in English actually has a descendant in Greek, eclipse? And amongst all the words that eclipse can mean, one of the things, abandonment. So when you have failed or you feel that you faced a setback, it's that abandonment. Your sun has gone away. And that sun is that fireball that nurtures, that anchors in an otherwise cold cosmic world. Of course it's going to hurt. But in that moment, I just want you to remember this analogy and know that you have not been doomed. You have not been banished to a horrific, permanent kind of darkness. But in fact, it's a temporary shadow. Go away. The murky grays are going to lift. The only thing you need to remember is, in that moment, with all the devotion that you can muster, with all the reverence that you can have, with all the dedication that you can have, commit yourself to something that you love. Because when we talk about success, you think of bright and shiny things. If you want to shine like the sun, you first have to burn like the sun. Thank you.